watching really advanced guitar players play beautiful, strange-looking chords and weave melodies and phrases together in a linear fashion that sound fantastic but look completely unfamiliar can leave us feeling like there's some sort of big secret being kept from normal guitar players. And there sort of is. But the good news is it's not intentional, and it's actually not even really a secret. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris. Today you will learn the concept behind the golden warm-up. Now I'll explain the golden warm-up in a moment, but we've all seen guitar players like Andy Timmons, Ariel Posen, John Nathan Cordy, Tom Bukovic, Chris Buck. What's clear is that these guitar players seem to be accessing the fretboard in a different way, and it seems like that methodology isn't talked about very much, or at least if it is, it isn't talked about very effectively. This video is brought to you by all the folks who support me on my Patreon page. If you're enjoying this channel, you like the style with which I teach, you're enjoying the content, you find some value in it, or you just like to support the channel, check out my Patreon page. And if you do decide to support the channel, I thank you very much in advance. I came to this idea and this methodology through Horace Bray. Now you may not have heard of Horace Bray, but now you have. About 6 years ago, he published an exercise through SoundSlice called the Golden Warm-Up. And this exercise is really based on an intervallic way of looking at the guitar. Now, while the exercise is not very hard, in fact, it's quite simple to play, it's the level of understanding of the way chords and scales work together that allows you the capability to expand on it and really master it. So folks who don't have a good grasp of the way things work in that way, chords and scales, intervals and stuff like that, they can still find this methodology and this approach to be mysterious and a little bit unavailable. So I'm going to explain exactly how this methodology works. I'm going to show you how it changes the way you look at the fretboard. And I'm going to do it with information that you already understand. Let's zoom in, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to start by just playing one of the phrases from that piece I played at the top, and it goes like this. Now this is based on a B-flat chord, but really it's based on an intervallic design, a series of notes in relation to B-flat. Here they are: root, 3, 7, root, 2, 4, root. Looks sort of spidery. Right? But really it's just based on a B-flat chord. Now what I want to show you is this. Even though I'm just playing all these numbers in relation to this B-flat bar chord, I'm getting some interesting results. I'm coming across things that I may never have seen before. Listen to these first 3 notes, for example. Maybe I've never played that chord, I've never seen a diagram of it. And listen to the next couple. Certainly never seen that before. And then it ends like this. Maybe I've never played that chord before, right? So these 3 little shapes, maybe I've never seen those, right? What I'm demonstrating here is that I've arrived at some things I've never played before just by using an intervallic design. Now this one's a little complex. I'm going to wipe this out. I'm going to make this really, really easy. I'm going to strip away all the complexity and show you how this skill, how this sort of new lens, this new way of looking at the guitar starts, how to build this up. We're going to use the key of G. The key of G is just built from the G major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And these 7 notes can be combined and repurposed to generate a chord off of each note from the scale. The first 4 chords in this key are G major, A minor, B minor, and C. I'm just playing bar chords here. G, A minor, B minor, and C. I'm just going to play the notes on the D, G, and B string for each one of these chords. And that's going to generate triads for each one. G, A minor, B minor, C. Now I'm going to use these 4 chords to build a little phrase, a little model, using what I'm calling an intervallic design. Just a sort of a string of intervals that I'm going to build across each one of those root notes. Let me just show you what that is. I'm going to play the root, the 3rd, the 4th note, in the key relating to this G and the fifth note. This is the root, the third, and the fifth of the scale, and this is the 4. We're just basing all of this off the G major scale. Root, 3, 4, 5, and I'm just going to let them ring out. Right off the bat, here's a chord that maybe I've never seen a diagram before. I've never seen this chord diagram. This is a G sus chord. Sounds pretty cool, right? I'm just arriving at something that maybe I've never played before. I'm going to take that same idea and I'm going to start on the A now. And since this is an A minor chord, that 3 is going to have to be a flat 3. Root, flat 3, 4, 5. I'm going to move the same thing up to B now. The B is also minor in this key. So this is going to be root, flat 3, 4, 5. These are chords that I might not have come across in any other way. And if you notice, so far they're all the same. They end with the same little design. Right? When we get to the C, it's going to force the pattern to change because in this key, this chord or this shape, this relationship is going to be a sharp 4. Because this note is the one in the key. There's a chord I might not have ever played before. So cool, right? Just using this intervallic design and sort of pushing it through the scale. Root 3, 4, 5. Root flat 3, 4, 5. Root flat 3, 4, 5. Root 3 sharp 4, 5. I can just push it through the rest of the scale. Let me play this same thing. I'm going to take the same design. Root 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to push it down through the scale. I'm going to start on the G. I'm going to go G, which is the 1 chord, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to go backwards, and I'm going to use this intervallic design to just generate a cool melody. Not a scale diagram, not something that I've ever seen played before, not necessarily something that I could find a pattern to play, but just using an intervallic design and pushing it linearly through the key. In other words, through the available notes in the key, I've come up with this cool melodic idea. This system, this idea of taking a group of intervals and pushing it through a scale makes you look at the fretboard in a different way. You track different types of information, and so you get different results. When you just look at chord diagrams or scale patterns, you are stuck in those patterns and those diagrams. But when you lift your mind and your eyes out and you apply stuff like this to a scale or a structure like a major scale, you automatically start coming up with unique ideas because you're looking at the fretboard in a unique way. Okay, so there it is. This methodology is really all about pushing that intervallic information through a scale in a linear fashion, right? Down the fretboard instead of across it. This gives you opportunities for new fingerings, those new dyads, those new two-note shapes, all of that new tension and interesting sound that you have control over, and all from information that you already know. I've tabbed this lesson out. Those tabs are available on Patreon, like all the tabs for all the lessons on this channel. Head on over there if you want to grab them, and if you do decide to support the channel, thanks so much in advance. I hope you found this lesson interesting. I hope it's opened your mind to a new way of looking at the fretboard. Above all, stay curious. I'll see you next time.